What is going on, people of YouTube? This is Mike here, Global Voodoo, and want to thank all of you guys here for staying tuned, checking us out. This is going to be a really fun show. I got my buddy Jay with me here, who is, he's on top of just the whole social media, entrepreneurship, small business stuff, and he's got a lot of good information we're going to start talking about here today that not just applies to reselling, it applies to business, right? It's this practical business sense. And it's my honor here to have Jay on the show. Jay, what's up, buddy? What's going on? Tell us what's happening.
Hey, Mike. I really appreciate this, and we've had some really great phone calls, and we're just so on the same page. It's weird. I wish we could have met each other a couple of years ago. But that's neither here nor there. The important thing is we're getting this thing going now. And, just like earlier today with that whole Evo experience that you were on, you crushed it, dude. 400% growth in 24 hours, and that's what social is all about. And social is just now starting to get to where stuff really works. And, I mentioned this in the promo yesterday. I thought about this a lot last night. The deal with social, learn how to use it correctly, so that way you're not a tool. Use the tool, don't be a tool. It's not rocket science. It's simple.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's insane. I mean, there's tools out here, guys, for us to just run our businesses as resellers, but there's tools out here to grow into other avenues, right? And, Jay's right. I mean, Jay turned me on to this Evo, guys, and if you've been following me on Facebook, I've been using this app. It's only for iPhones, but I have a feeling as it grows and stuff like that this would be available on Android. But to give you a quick background on what it is, I can sit here with my phone and I'm walking into thrift stores, right? And people can see me, and communicate with me, and I'm showing them what I'm doing in a thrift store. It's such a valuable tool, right? And it can be used for all different types of things, right? Where for me, I'm using it to show, you guys out there, hey, here I'm at a thrift store live. Let's see what I find, see my strategy, see where I'm going first, right? And if it wasn't for Jay pointing that out, I mean, I wouldn't know about it, So thanks, Jay. I mean, so much. Really? Back on, just social media in itself, you are a reseller, right? Talk to people like your experiences with reselling on eBay and just kind of let's get into this so people can kind of get used to you, because mostly everything on my channel is reselling.
Yep. First of all, I do want to say that I've watched a lot of different people on YouTube, and I will say this: you were not the first person that I came across. But there's a whole collection of people, and that whole thing has changed totally in the last year. But I think, and the reason that you and I are talking is because I believe that you're the guy that has the best information. You have been doing this the longest. You have the skill set, the proof that you really know what you're doing, and you're not just flying by the seat of your pants. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is experimentation going on because there's a lot of things that are new. Amazon FBA is, relatively new, right?
Yeah.
But watching you on Evo go through that Goodwill store today, I knew right away. You knew exactly what you were doing. You were in and out of there. You were hitting that stuff. You were making your process as streamlined as possible. Why? Because you have experience. You've got it dialed in. You know what you're doing. It's the same thing with any online business platform. You have to know what you're doing and have a system and have it work. So back to my thing. I got into eBay reselling, over 2 years ago. A buddy of mine that's in Nevada that's been doing it for years. He does a lot of sports clothing. That's his thing. I'm not a sports guy. I don't know, sports. So for me, I figured out that my thing was kind of general everyday guys fashion. And honestly, I've come to the conclusion recently that I suck at eBay. I love sourcing. I love thrifting. But as far as the the doing it for the purpose of doing it. I've decided that I'm going to get back to my first love, which is content creation, the online space, the stuff that we're talking about today. I'm going to keep my eBay account, but I'm going to move into a more specialized area of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go. But
yeah,
so
and it shows a lot that that you're basically saying, hey, eBay, I'm doing eBay, but I'm going back to my passion, and this is where I think we're going to focus a lot of this, the next 45 minutes to an hour on really, go for your passion, go for what what you like, right, and build on that, right? I mean, and you can do that with social media, can't you, Jay?
Absolutely. It's funny because I figured out about I don't know, a little over a year of doing the eBay thing full time. When you make your listing, and then you click on that link once it's live on eBay, then you can see the actual listing, and then over in the upper right-hand corner, there's the social media links. And I learned to click on Twitter, the Twitter link, and then put in appropriate hashtags. And sometimes I would even get rid of the eBay mention and just cut that all out. So it's like I don't want to be sending that to them. And here's the interesting thing that I found out was that when you first do your listing and you can see how many views you've had, you usually have like 1 or 2 views within like a minute or two. I don't know how that happened, why. But when I started to use Twitter to tweet my better stuff, stuff that was like 30, buy it now, best offer, 30, 40, 50 bucks, the Pendletons, semi-rare stuff, right? I would hit the Twitter link, do the tweet, hashtag it appropriately, and then hit refresh on the views, and I'd have somewhere between 15 and 20 views instead of 0 to 2 views within 1 minute.
Yeah, and that's productivity. That's using social media for your benefit, right? And here's the thing, you talk, a lot of people talk about Cassini and what's the magic solution for eBay to get things being sold. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, right? Social media, use Twitter, use Instagram, use Pinterest, whatever it takes to get viewers, get watchers on your eBay items. Because if you can get those watchers, I am telling you, there's a formula involved for that. When you get watchers, your stuff gets bumped up on eBay, and you'll get faster selling results, right? There's no gimmick to this, right? Yeah. And you can use it to an extent where if you've got a hot selling item, right, and you just throw it on eBay and you don't do any social media, you don't do any marketing of your product, if it's a hot item, of course, people are going to watch it, right? But if it's something like let's just take Pendleton, for example. Let's say it's a basic Pendleton shirt, right? You throw it out on Twitter, Pendleton, eBay, you tag everything correctly, and next thing you know, like Jay said, you went from the standard 2 views, to now it's at 30. Now you've got a watcher, right? Now it's slowly growing up through the eBay search. You get that second watcher. Now it's game time. When you get 2 or 3 watchers onto something is typically going to pop for you, right? So yeah, I mean, Jay, besides like Twitter, right, for like eBay, I mean, do you recommend any other social media thing, maybe like Instagram or?
I just started an Instagram account, and the reason for that is because I'm a photographer by nature. My dad has a master's degree in photography. I grew up with him having a portrait studio where he did a lot of family portraits, high school senior portraits, outdoor weddings, that type of thing. So quality was really the issue, right? And I am of the opinion that I think Instagram has kind of, hoard out photography in a way.
Yeah.
It's not about quality. It's just about getting your stuff out there. That's a whole other discussion. But I did go ahead and I created the account, so I don't really have much knowledge about that. Facebook is not my favorite place. However, we're gonna put that link that I sent you yesterday about Scoble talking about how to really tweak your Facebook account to get results. That's like an hour and 10-minute Google Hangout. Best information out there on that. You're not going to find anything better. That's amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'll post that after the video finishes and put it on my Facebook, because I was watching part of it last night before I went to bed, and I was like, this is good stuff.
It's really
back on Instagram, I use Instagram, and I'm just going to tell you from my experience, guys. I sell a lot of vintage stuff, a lot of sports stuff. Instagram is a tremendous tool, right? If you can understand how it can work for your business, right? So, for example, right, if you're finding yourself finding a lot of snapback hats, I mean, Instagram, you could rock it, all right? You see, the whole thing is with all this social media is building an audience, right? And Jay said this before, don't go out there talking about you and bragging about you and this, that. Just put your information out. Share it. Say, hey, I'm here on Instagram to sell my snapback hats, right? To share the passion of vintage snapback hats. And there's a whole little small niche of people that are on Instagram, and there's thousands, guys, that are just following vintage, right? And there's people just following vintage snapback hats. There's people following mid-century modern. There's all these little niches on Instagram, and as long as you, in my opinion, with any of these social media platforms, be consistent. If you can be consistent and religiously put out information every day, a new tweet, a new post, a new, whatever it is, you're going to get results, right? I've learned of this, and anything in life. If you go through life and you give up on something, right, you're never going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah. Quitting's not an option. If you don't believe in something, don't start. If you're going to quit before you even start. Otherwise, really do some soul searching, figure out what you want to do, and then once you push the button, there's no turning back. Now, as far as Instagram, something I haven't tried yet, but I saw somebody else do and use, which I thought was interesting, because I'm a big Twitter person. I'm a big Twitter fan. They're using Instagram they'll record a little video, put it on Instagram, and then they'll put that link in a tweet. So that, with Twitter, when instead of having the picture come up, it's actually, instead of an Instagram picture, it's an Instagram video. So you've got, 10, 12, 14 seconds to promote something via video in a tweet. It's double access to 2 different social platforms, 2 different audiences. That's thinking smarter. That's what this stuff is all about.
Yeah, it's just getting it out there, getting your information out there. And, I mean, obviously we're talking about, like, reselling, using this as a reseller's tool. But really what Jay can do for anybody, and we talked about this yesterday, Jay, in private, but, it's like this, guys, right? You could resell for the rest of your life if you know what you're doing, right, and make really good money. There comes a point as a reseller, as you've been doing this for year after year, where you're starting to think, well, wait a minute, what if I just go direct to a manufacturer, or I decide that I'm going to have a certain product made, right? And branding yourself, because at the end of the day, right, I'm a big believer in this, that, first off, I'm an entrepreneur, right? And I'm always thinking ahead and thinking, where do I want to do this? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where in 10 years, right? And I get bored quick with things, right? For example, I mean, like going to Goodwill. I go there all the time, but you know what? It's one of those things. I find things, I resell them, okay? There's no secret to any of this. It's just going out, buying, reselling. But in my mind, when I'm laying in bed at night, I'm like, I have this brilliant idea. I have this idea in this product, right? And then I go for it, right? Like vintage T-shirts, guys. I sell a boat ton all over the place, right? But I rep for Major League Baseball, NBA. I've got license agreements with all these companies, right, to sell product on other websites, okay? And you just have to, as a reseller or a business owner, it's important for growth. If you're not growing and you're slowing down and you're seeing sales dip, that's an indication of one of 2 things. Either you're not working hard enough to list the stuff, you're not selling the right stuff, you're overpriced, or really the third one is you need to find something that works, right? I mean, nobody wants to sit around and pick stuff, put all the time to put the stuff online, whether it's eBay, Amazon, Etsy, to not make any money, right? Yeah. And in today's world, I mean, and you could say this too, Jay, I mean, it's open to us, guys. I mean, this internet is so new. Everybody's shopping they got their phones. They're walking around. You see them like zombies, just, I mean, they're freaking on their phone all day long.
Yep.
Facebook is one of those things where, oh my God, everybody's on Facebook, right? Everybody, blah, blah, they're blabbing, and they're finding themselves maybe spending too much time on there.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a quick story, and you know, I don't mean to hijack all this because I really want people to know you, Jay. But you know, I'm going to tell you a story about Amazon. All right. As you may know, it's my kids are back in school, and the school supplies on Amazon are just incredible, right? So I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I created my own listing on a certain product that I found at Target, and I bundled some school supplies together, right? And what I did is, as I bundled them together, I threw them on there. I created the listing on Amazon. I sent some in FBA. I had some here do merchant filled. And within a couple days, boom, boom, they were just selling like hotcakes, right? So I said, okay. I went and got some more of these, made these bundles, and I said, you know what? By the time I send these, because they're going to go from Arizona, where I live, to like Tennessee, so it's going to take like 6 days to get checked in. But I want to make money today.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Let's try Facebook. Let's see if advertising on Facebook for Amazon works. And boy, I'll tell you, it does. I mean, it was just incredible to see, like yesterday, my phone just go boop, boop, boop. I'm like, what? So now after experiencing this, you know, I'm going to go run back to Target, and if I got to drive another hour to find another Target that's got more of this stuff, I'm going to keep buying. But there I was. I use social media. I use Facebook, not just for me to see what Johnny Bobby's doing, right, or Linda Ray, right? I've used it to advertise to Linda Ray and Bobby Joe, right?
Yes.
And that's a tool you can use where it's not like it costs a lot of money, guys, right? But the impact it is, yeah. I mean,
so what did you? I'm gonna hijack your story.
Yeah.
What is the moral of that story with what you did with that Amazon bundle? What did you do?
Well, I mean, what I did is, the end of the day, the moral of that story is I did something on my own,
right?
You know, where I took this product that was not on Amazon, I got away from the competition, I created my own listing, and I created my own little freaking like slot machine. Well, you know, and it might not last for the next year, obviously, not, but then I incorporated my you know, expertise in advertising and went to Facebook and said, Facebook, now you work for me. There's a reason why your stock's so high and why there's millions and billions of dollars going through Facebook. Let's see if it'll work for old Mikey on these school supplies.
There's a word I'm looking for specifically of what you actually did, and it starts with the letter V.
Victory.
Nope. See if anybody can get. Is there anybody in the comments that might be able to?
Let me shout out. We got some people in the house, and thank you guys all for watching. We've got Nora in the house. Golden Finger Picker is in the house. What's up, guys? Chip Dickerson, what's up? And Norex Contacts. Hey, Mike, how are you? Good. I'm doing great. So what's the V? What's the
V? Is value.
Value.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's social media. It doesn't matter if it's business in general. When you create value, this is something I've been playing with myself for the last probably 2 months. And value is when you don't think about yourself, you think about the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And when you bring value to the table, people are they're attracted to that. They're interested. And the reason you provided value with that bundle is because if it's a mom, I'm assuming, buying that bundle, what did you do? You kept them from having to go around and, you know, get the Spider-Man, right?
Yep. Yeah, they went out then.
You know, you got the pencil holder, you got the folders, you got the notebook, and you did it all. So that way, you allow them to do this all like in one click, as opposed to 27 clicks to do the same thing themselves. So you just save them a whole bunch of time and some money because it's all going to be shipped in one nice, neat, concise package.
Yeah, it arrives in 2 days. It's brilliant. I mean, and you nailed it with the value added. I mean, you guys got to start thinking value. How do I provide value to somebody, right? I mean, this is why, like, when I make videos on Spreecast or like right now, I mean, it's, you know, I want you listening and going, hey, that clicks for me. Now I'm going to go work on that. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Jay, right? But everything, like, I mean, when I sell a vintage shirt to somebody, right, and they give me $200 for it, I'm gonna reach out. You're damn right, and message them and say, hey, thanks. Let me know how it works, if it fits, if it's great, you know, and letting the customer know, hey, man, these people really care, right? And, you know, providing some value to them where then they're gonna say, hey, I got this shirt. They're gonna walk around, sport it at a concert. People are gonna go up to them, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Boom. Then they drop my name. That happens all the time for me. I mean, I got shirts all over the country that are going in, and people, a lot of these people are wearing them to concerts. They're wearing them to sporting events, And I've gotten phone calls. I've heard people in the stadiums, right, saying, "Hey, I just saw this guy. I'm on your website. I want to order this shirt." Boom, value, right? Everything's about convenience now. We live in a fast-paced world. It's digital. Where everybody's on their mobile phones, right? So why not provide value to somebody, right? Now we're getting a little bit off topic. I see Richard's in the house. He says value added. Thanks, Richard. And that's what it's all about, guys. Value. You nailed it, Jay. Besides like Twitter, right? Do you have any experience with Pinterest? Do you recommend Pinterest to somebody out there?
I just got on there not too long ago. I'm just like a lot of other people that they assumed that Pinterest was this, chick recipe, clothing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm exploring that. I've spent the last 6 months intensely delved into Twitter and how that all works. Now, back to Facebook for half a second. Here's what's interesting. We were just talking about this before, is that I saw a post that I guess it's not against Facebook's terms of service that you can blatantly, flat out sell on Facebook. Not promote on Facebook, but just sell. So if you've got like 3,000 people following on Facebook, why not just do a status update of, whatever the item is, whatever the price is, however, and do it as a test. See what happens. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, it's a little bit of your time by creating this post. Here's another thing that I've used in my reselling business, and it's worked out tremendously for me. I sat there when Facebook first started coming out. I wasn't a fan, I'll be honest, because I'm like, I don't want people to know where I'm at, what I'm doing.
Right.
But then I started thinking, you know what? Groups started happening, communities started happening, right? So I created a Facebook page about selling your garage sale stuff, right, in the county that I lived in. And it blew up. It was like 4,000 people. It's still crazy right now. People are commenting this, that, selling this. But it was a way for me to have the people that are selling their junk right at my fingertips, right? By me creating that, by going and like here in Arizona, I've got it now in my city now. Anybody that, if they come across this Facebook page, hey, I'm selling some Nintendo games. I'm getting on my phone, guys. Oh, wow. And I'm typing away, and hey, how much, right? Everything's at our fingertips right now. And if you understand this, you could be sitting there going to the bathroom, all right? I don't mean to sound like rude and crude or whatever, but you could be sitting there working from your toilet.
Literally.
Right?
Literally.
It's insane. It is insane. And, a lot of people, especially I do Pick for Profit, and, people are talking, Mike, what do you think about Instagram and this, that? And I think it's all great. Go for it, right? Just remember, right, you put a little bit of effort in, consistently be that person that's listing and doing more things, and you're going to get these results, man. People will come.
Right. So when you provide value, and the problem that I see, I see national brands using social media incorrectly. And yesterday in the promo we talked a little bit about the difference between social networking, which is where it all started, and then it got into social media. I don't know if you remember this or even were aware of what happened, but at the beginning, Facebook was mainly about a status update, which was just a simple line of text.
Yep.
Then I think they added pictures and links and then embeds. So it wasn't social media at first. It was an opportunity for you to network socially. Mm-hmm. And then it grew, and they added stuff to their platform, and which they all have done that now. Yeah. But so that's the first thing. Social network is the people. Social media is the content.
Yeah, the platform.
We get these terms mixed up all the time. So that's important. If you're gonna use this stuff, you're gonna have to use it the best you can. My email signature for years has been technology is only relevant if it's personal. Mm-hmm. People that don't know about stuff, that aren't using stuff, it's not personal. And if it was, and they knew about it, they would use it. Case in point, it's I'm not going to apologize for being an iOS fanboy because I migrated from Android a couple years ago. I bought my iPad because I found out about GarageBand for iOS because I wanted to get back into like creating music again. Like back in the 80s, I had keyboards and drum machines and all that stuff, and I found out that because of GarageBand on an iPad, you could do 1,000 times more with just the one device, and that's actually exploded even more beyond that. And I got back into the whole thing because I wanted to record an album and sell it on iTunes. That I wanted to start to create intellectual property,
yeah,
and sell it online, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got sidetracked with the whole eBay thing, and the lesson about eBay for me, for reselling, is it opened my eyes. I live in a small area on the southern Oregon coast. I'm pretty removed, from most everything. The largest major town is 2 hours away from me, Eugene, home of the Oregon Ducks. It's a 2-hour drive. I learned that via eBay, 85% plus of my sales were coming from east of the Rockies. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with local business here at all. I mean, I spent years, I had a small advertising agency, video production company, selling to locals, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in a down economy and have been for years and years, our thing here was logging and fishing for years. They dried up years ago. There's not a lot of money here. And when you're trying to do business with people that don't have money to pay you, it's like, nah, it doesn't work. So the thing about the eBay thing is that it woke me up to the reality of there's money out there. There's money everywhere. I mean, you preach this every day.
Yeah.
You just have to go to where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. And so eBay really taught me that there's people out there. You just have to connect with them. That's what social is connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking here. I see, give a couple of shout-outs to Hearts Pickers. Thanks for joining in. Morgan Horde, Mothership Products in the house. There's other people here. There was a thing here. Let me go back to the top here. And I believe it was from Morgan Horde. Pinterest has been blowing up for me lately in new followers sales. So, guys, Kim's, I'm not a big Pinterest, right? I use it a little bit, but Kim's rocking and rolling on there, right? It's a lot of creativity stuff that's going on there. She likes that because of the feature, right? But, if you've got the right products for Pinterest, oh my gosh. I've got 2 or 3 Etsy accounts, for example, and I want to talk about Etsy for a second, but I want to talk about it because it relates to social media, big time.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so I've got this little niche product that I'm selling on Etsy, and I'm just blasting stuff on Pinterest. I'm blasting on Instagram. I'm doing a little bit on Facebook, but I'm trying to see what's the vibe. I'm trying to reach a certain clientele, and at first when you're starting with Etsy, it can be slow, right? But if you have the right product, they start coming, right? But you have to be interactive, right? You got to follow the other sellers. Follow some of these other people that are posting things on Pinterest and stuff like that. Get involved.
Keyword is engage. You have to engage.
Exactly. Engaging is a lot of people have a hard time engaging because they're like, oh, I don't want to approach this person, or I don't want to, they're too big, or, that seller's never going to talk to me. And maybe they think my question is stupid. You have to engage in this world, right? If you can engage, right, and when you're like, if going back to this morning when I was on the Evo app, right, I went up to the garage sale, and at first there was nothing really going on, and I looked over, there's 2 nice jerseys. I engaged. Hey, what's happened? Just shooting the stuff. And you just engage with people because it goes a long way. So you got to have that mentality of, just because you're in front of a computer or a phone, you can engage, right, through social media. Wouldn't you agree, Jay?
Absolutely. I did a post. I saw a post earlier today on Facebook in an entrepreneur group that I'm in, and the question that they threw out was, what is your biggest frustration with social? And they listed all the individual platforms by name. And I said, number 1, noise. And I got that from that Facebook video that I was watching last night. Number 1 is noise, and number 2 is lack of engagement.
Yep.
And the thing I see that national brands are doing wrong, doesn't matter what the platform is, old media, television, radio, newsprint, I used to sell local TV advertising, it's a monologue. I'm the business, here's my product, here's my price, here's my phone number, call me.
Yeah.
No engagement. It's just, one way. Me, right?
Mm-hmm.
These companies are still trying to take those old tactics and bring them into the new media, social media. It's not about that. It's about dialogue. It's about engagement. It's about two-way conversations.
Yep.
Some companies don't want to have feedback from their customers.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? In 20 years, we're not going to have many of those types of companies around. They'll be gone.
No, there's a major potato chip manufacturer right now where on their Facebook they got like 1 million likes, right, 1 million followers,
Yep.
and they're saying, hey, what potato chip should we make next? I mean, that's thinking outside the box, guys, right? They could just sit there and make their plain potato chip, but now they're saying to their fan base, hey, what do you guys think about a cappuccino coffee potato chip, right? And then they're making these products in limited batches and seeing if people like them. I mean, it's about changing the rhythm that you're doing your business, right? And just changing things up, right? Especially with reselling. I mean, you don't have to be stuck to just the one thing. I mean, you can go and create other products, bundle things together, right? I see Nora says, I should get my soap on Etsy. You're damn straight. I would be sitting there right now thinking of a way to create a nifty package for the soap, right? And then just coming out, photographing a killer image of this soap. I'm assuming it's natural, it's homemade. Have a picture outside of it, right? It's some cool backdrop, and just throw it out there for $13, right? There's a reason why like Bed Bath & Beyond and Yankee Candle and all these other little niche companies, especially like a Yankee Candle, are billion-dollar corporations off of something as simple as a candle, right? So same thing applies to soap. Just because, your passion is... Yeah. I mean, you could take your soap right now and rock it on Amazon.
Yeah, high-end soap is a gift item.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out there. Get it, this is her crunch time. There's another term that you use, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but you use it, and you use it correctly, and you use it well, and that's long tail. And social media the long tail is exactly why social media is valuable and it works, because it's all niche. Back when we were growing up, there were, several TV networks. There were the same 3 blockbuster movies that were out at a time. We all listened to the same 5 or 10 bands because they were all gatekeepers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gatekeepers kept the average people out of creating content, recording an album, touring, making a movie, doing a TV show, writing a book. It was all controlled by gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this thing on my iPad right now. There are no gatekeepers. You can create all this content on a freaking little box. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, the stuff you've been talking to me about and what you can show and what you're doing with, just you can, like you said, and maybe talk to people more about just running your business through your phone or your iPad. I mean, just what you can do. If you want to just talk to them real briefly, like the creation, when we're going to talk about content creation here, but, what you can literally do with just an iPhone or an iPad in terms of, communication, social media, you can hit on that point, but like creation, right? Videos, editing. You only need $10,000 to go buy some crazy, editing software.
I got rid of all my stuff. Yep, I got rid of all my stuff. And a few months ago, I spent quite a bit of time online doing research. And because I wanted to figure out how to be able to do all the stuff I used to do on a computer, regular computer, with all that high-end Adobe software, like $2,000 worth for the bundle pack and whatnot. I can do 90% now on my iPad with about $100 worth of apps. So a $500 iPad and about $100 or less worth of various apps, knowing what they can do, I can do 90% of what I used to do on this on the iPad now. And that includes, video, graphic design, the whole Photoshop layering thing, vector images. Vector images are scalable, okay? They're based on an algorithm of the software as opposed to bitmap images, what photos are based off of. All this stuff, because these guys have developed these apps, make this all happen. And it's just getting started. It hasn't even started yet compared to where it's going. So the last thing that is not quite available on an iPad yet, or a tablet device, is what's called motion graphics. And that's like all those TV, the drama TV shows, CSI and whatever, all those opens, the same opens they have every week.
Yeah.
It's all a composite. That's called a composite of images and video and graphics and motion and all that stuff. That's the one thing that's not quite available on a mobile device yet. And trust me, the day that hits, that's going to be interesting. Next month, Apple's September 9th announcement, they're going to announce most likely a watch. They're going to announce a new iPhone, and that new iPhone is going to have more power than any machine I've ever owned in my life. Desktop machine.
And that's what it is. I mean, it's technology getting better and bigger, right? And they finally turned the page when Steve Jobs made the iPhone and Apple and all the whole 9 yards with all this, where it's you can use this tool, and it's got so much stuff that can be in this tool, and that's what I like about it, right? I like the fact that I can take my phone, and I can see orders that I get from Amazon, my website, stuff like that. I've got Twitter here, I've got Amazon Seller app, I've got all these apps that I have. If I wanted to see what the hell's going on with the news, I click a button, right? If I want to make a video, if I want to post on Facebook, everything's here, right? And about a year ago, my daughter was messing with the iPhone, for example, and was using this app, and she made a video like professionally looking in like a minute, know. So of course, as time moves on and people start to get more into the work field, right, where they're working, they're paying their bills, right, they've got a little extra income, they're going to be shopping on the eBays, the Amazons, right, the Etsy's. They're going to be looking for things, right? We're going to see a time where obviously the shopping malls aren't going away, but the sales overall across the board with shopping malls is down. They're closing a lot of these shopping malls, right? We're stuck with Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that, these big box stores. It's all moving online, guys, right? And we are at such an infancy stage of it that it's amazing to see what's going to happen in the future with it. And especially, with content creation, in my opinion in this is
right.
There used to be a time where, when I was growing up, if I wanted to learn something, I had to get a book, right? Or I had to go to the library and I couldn't check a book out, this big encyclopedia thing. I had just to go there and read about it, right? Or listen to other people, right? Or rent a video. Now, you could just go on to like this platform here, YouTube, right? You can type in anything. You can learn anything. You want to learn how to tie your shoes, right? There's so much out there, but not everything is out there, okay? There are people searching for things all the time, right? And let's go back into reselling, right? There are people that they're like, oh, eBay, what is this? And they're trying to learn this. And I see, there's Square Deal Guy, and Golden Finger Picker, Hertz Motor Company, and they're on here YouTube, and they're doing videos, and they've got shows, right? And they're getting people, together, and they're talking about a passion they all have, right? That we all have. We all share eBay, Amazon, right? But there's new people coming in, and they're like, I don't know about that, right? And they're helping.
Case in point, there's a brand new. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this link, but there's a brand new. Well, I don't know how brand new it is. I'm guessing it's probably a year old. It's called FitBay, FITBAY, and I think it's mainly new clothing. But you go in, you create an account, it's free, and what they do is they have you upload your measurements, and then it's social, so you talk to other people that have the same measurements and body type that you do, and you can exchange ideas about certain brands and styles of clothing that you like and how they fit and why, and then that company sends you information about new clothing based on your measurements and fit styles, so it's totally custom. So what they're doing is, I think they're probably creating like affiliate programs with brands, and what they're trying to do is eliminate return shipping because stuff doesn't fit. That's the number one issue with selling clothing online. returns. So if you can fix that via an algorithm,
Yeah.
how much more profitable is that? It's huge.
Yeah. It reminds me of this, where there's a company out there, I think it's called $1 Million Shave. They provide you with, for a really cheap monthly fee, all your shaving supplies you need, right?
Yep.
Razors,
Yep.
shaving cream, right? All
Right.
private labeled, guys, right? Go look. I mean, I'll put a link on my Facebook or in this video after when I'm done with it. But you guys you'd be like, what happened here? Why do they have such a huge following? All they did was just private label a razor, right? Private labeled a shaving cream, a lotion, and it's $1 million corporation.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's creating, some content there. Now, in terms of creating content as a provider of, let's say, information. Let's say you want to. I mean, let me ask you this, Jay. I mean, could you write an ebook, and can you, about a passion, and will people buy it? Can anybody do it?
I did a blog post on what was it, like 2008, 2009. I had several sites that I started to get into the whole make money online space based on content. And I did a blog post. It's on my Patreon campaign, as a matter of fact. We'll talk about that after a bit. But it's called Buddy Up. And the whole idea is about if you can't write, if you don't know tech, but if you have an area of expertise that you're the go-to person when somebody wants to know information about that specific topic, find somebody that can help you write. Hire it out on Fiverr or whatever. Find a high school, college-age tech kid in your neighborhood that can provide you with that platform to get you going. But yeah, you can write. Anybody can write. If you've got good, solid information and good, solid ideas, this is the time. It's not going to get any better than now to start putting that stuff out there.
Yeah, and this just doesn't apply to like reselling, guys. I mean, it doesn't mean we all need to go write 101 books on freaking eBay or Amazon, right? It applies to anything. So if you've got a passion, and we kind of brushed on this yesterday in our video, Jay,
right,
about flying RC airplanes, right?
Yep.
Right. There's people that they're hobbyists. There's communities that they're all getting together for the simple fact that they all share the same common interest, right? And they want to be a part of. They want to go buy a book and learn more about fishing or fishing lures or hot sauce, right? I mean, everything is broken down into a group, right? But a lot of this information, it's almost like you look at like if you ever played poker or the online poker, right? When it first came out, everybody was freaking on there. Oh my God, I can make $1 million, right? And they're freaking going crazy. And then some people wrote books about it. And became like, this, oh my God, this guy wrote a book, this is great, look how much money he makes, blah, 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 and taught people how to to do, the online poker, how gave them some advantages, some tips, some guides, right? That's all it is. This can be applied to anything in life, right? I mean, there's people right now that they're putting together fitness programs. It works for them, so they're going, hey, you know what? Let me market this. Let me go get on Kindle, and here's my, my $5 Get Fit guide, right? I mean, right, Jay? I mean, that's how easy it is. Put the stuff to paper, and if that's too much for you, and if I'm not a good writer, you can even take it a step further. Grab your phone or grab your computer and just speak what you want. And there's services like on Fiverr, for example, that you give them $5, they translate the whole thing, they write it out for you. It's crazy.
Or use your iPhone to record your audio 3-minute podcast and upload it to, whatever source you want, SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You have to find your thing, and you have to find a good platform that works for you, a good media format that works for you, and do it. And this is a whole other thing, but, there's video. The best thing about YouTube, really, how it really works well, is for live demonstration. Haul videos, perfect example of a correct use of video and YouTube. Audio, there's a lot of people that are out there that are commuting, that want information because they're commuting to what? Their 40-hour-a-week job, and they're listening to not the radio and music, but podcasts because they want to get this information to change and better their lives by starting to branch out into doing their own thing. So if you're on YouTube for the purpose of audience only, and you're just a talking head, like right now, we're having some interaction. We're not having a lot of, demonstration.
Yeah.
But if you're only on, the big thing with this is it's live, for one thing. But, if you're only on your platform for the benefit of you as opposed to the benefit of your audience, you should rethink that. And what I mean by that is, audio is great for commuting because you slam it in your iPhone, your iPod, whatever, and you've got a half an hour commute into the city every day and a half an hour back. That's an hour's worth of format time that somebody could be using to better themselves because they're aware and they want to make their lives better. There's never been a time in history like this that if you want to do that, the tools are everywhere. So audio, if you've got information out there and you want somebody to be able to use it in a commuting format, audio is the best way to do that. Obviously, text doesn't work for that because you can't drive your car to work and read a blog post.
Yeah.
But fortunately, there are things, there's an interpretation of that now, and you can hit a button on your phone and have Siri, read that blog post to you, which is cool. It's not the most accurate, but it does work. But that's the thing too is, know your audience and know your reasons for creating your content and your media and why, and then pick the best avenue to put the stuff out there. That will help you grow faster than anything else.
And that's that's well said, man. I mean, it's getting that, the basics there, right? You're getting ready to start doing some podcasting, right, Jay? We'll talk about that here in a second.
Yeah.
It's like for me, I mean, you guys might know I have a website, Pick for Profit, and you know what? And there's people in the groups that are like, hey, you know what? I'm busy all day. I don't want to watch a 2-hour video. What's going on? Just break it down, right? And it's providing, a way to get the information to them clearly and providing value to them where they don't have to go through all the mumbo jumbo. You know what I'm saying, Jay? Yep. That makes any sense? Yeah. So, creating a podcast is outstanding. I mean, I walk around all day, listen to something, right? And for me, looking at it, it's as a whole, it's awesome, right? I mean, there's so many podcasts out there. I mean, guys, think about it, right? Groceries, right? Cooking. There's all types of shows, sports shows, right? If you believe in yourself and you have a passion for something, I see Golden Finger Picker was messaging, talking about he's working on something for records, for books, for collectors. I mean, nice. I'm sure you could rock it out and have a whole freaking podcast on records, right? Yeah. I have a passion for records. I listen. I want to learn about records.
It goes back to long term. Vinyl is huge right now in terms of the actual term of records, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to CDs or whatever. I did a podcast back in like 2007, 2008 with two guys. One was in Buffalo, New York. I was here, and one was in East Lansing, Michigan. And we recorded it over Skype, and there was barely the bandwidth to do it. It was just an audio thing. But we did it, and it was about a video editing software that we used. It was not a name brand, but it was fairly low cost comparatively, and it had all the features that Premiere had. It had all the features that the heavy hitters and Avid and that had. But we were focusing on trying to create our content as opposed to being caught up in having the biggest and the best and the bells and whistles, and nobody cares about that. My stuff that's on YouTube right now that I've shot of myself. My Patreon campaign video, little teaser, but at the end, I put out, did I forget to mention that this was all shot and edited on an iPhone? You can't tell. It's 1080p.
Yeah. I saw it. It looks fantastic, I mean, going back to, Leaf Vangs in the house, what's up, dude? He's talking about, here's the biggest problem, too, is people do take information and they run with it. I mean, plagiarism is huge on the internet, and it's going to be almost next to impossible to kind of eliminate that. There's always going to be people say, hey, I got this, or they watch your video, or they read your book, and then they bundle it in a different way and sell it to somebody else, right? There's nothing you could do about that. Is there? I mean, maybe, Jay, there's something you know about it. But, it's one of those things where that happens. It happens with everything, I mean, look at iPhone cases, or iPhone. Once somebody steps up and creates something, and there's a demand for it, right? I mean, obviously, yeah, there's going to be some plagiarism, there's going to be some copies, some fakes. like Ralph Lauren. It's fake everywhere, right? It's all about just understanding that, at the end of the day, you put out what you feel is you have a passion for, right? And, we're back on this whole content creation. And, if you're listening to this now and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm big into working out. Well, go out and create a YouTube, right? Start telling people. Create a Facebook, right? Get people involved with you. Share your experiences. Share what works. And you got this common core now, right?
Right.
And you're building an audience. And as you build your audience more and more, right, I mean, tremendous things can happen from it, right? You look at some of these really, like, people here on YouTube that have just got, like, 10 million viewers and, subscribers, and they're not famous like, a movie star. They're just a YouTuber. And they're pulling in $1 million or $2 million a year.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And that's what goes back to the opportunities out there. And really what I wanted to focus with the show at UJ was the content creation, the social media. Use this to your advantage, right? You can create a passive income right now with you sit down and get a piece of paper and start writing down things of what you want to do, what you have a passion in, right? I see a lot of you guys in the comments. Everybody's like, hey, California Pickers, here. This guy knows a lot about antiques. He knows a lot about, going out and doing flea markets, right? Who wouldn't buy a ebook from Drew, how to set up a flea market booth, right? You see, you guys, right? And, people sit there and say, oh, now you're selling all this information. Well, people are selling information. There's nothing, nobody can control it, right? Nobody can control it. But do something that's going to better your life, right? If you have a passion for something and it's picking, right, and you want to share your experiences and help people, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Go for it.
When I woke up about 6 months ago and I realized, I deserve to be paid for what I do just as much as the next person. Kim's a teacher, right? She invested all of that time and money and energy to get that teaching certificate to get her job, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's what she wanted as a kid. She wanted to be a teacher.
She deserves to be paid for her choice of interest, okay? My choice of interest is a bunch of ethereal information, but why am I not as deserving as anybody else to get paid for my thing? When I changed my mental space on that, I realized, wait a second, I can do this. I can do that. I can, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There is not enough time a day. No. But go for what your passion is, and that's why having you on here, Jay. Right? I'm gonna tell you guys the value with Jay is he knows a ton about social media. He knows what's going on in the tech world, right? He knows how to take video and make it look spectacular, right? But he's got something called Jay's List that is is basically getting in his mind and showing and sharing, right? These things that he creates, that he sees it's up and coming, right? It's like you're dialed into your own little news channel for the tech world with Jay. It's pretty cool, Check out his blog, right? And you can read about Jay. If you guys like what you're hearing with this, give the thumbs up. Let us know. Do you want to keep hearing about social media? You want to hear about content creation? Let us know. Give us some feedback. That's all we ask, right? But all I ask for you guys is go just check out and listen to Jay. Right? When he starts doing his podcasts, it's going to be awesome, guys. It's just more information that we can use, not just for our reselling business, but if you want to grow and get up to the next stage where you're like, you know what, Mike, you said that earlier about that shave club. I've got this idea of a product that I'd like to do. Well, now Jay's your guy, right? Jay's your guy. He can tell you what's the best social media for it. He's going to freaking say, hey, go check this out. Do this promo over here. Do this yap over there, right? It's awesome, guys. But I'm telling you, don't limit yourself to just, hey, I'm just doing eBay, right? Go out and expand. I mean, there's like FitBay you were saying, Jay. There's all this new stuff coming out. You create the new stuff, guys, right?
And the most important thing with all this is why limit yourself to just reselling? I see this all over on YouTube. They don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do eBay, do Amazon FBA, do Craigslist, do Etsy, do as many platforms as you can to keep yourself from having all your eggs in one basket. I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in one basket, which was eBay, and it's come back with the changes recently to kind of bite me. And that's where I woke up and I realized, you know what? I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I have to. It's more of a job than it is anything else. And I realized I'm going to go back to my main passion and the whole online space, the whole entrepreneurial thing. So back to the Jay's List analogy. What that really is just an idea that I had, that I'm online researching stuff and coming across stuff all day long of various different industries. iOS, iPhone, Apple products, entrepreneurial stuff, tech world, social media, content creation. And I thought, wait a second, what if I just put this out there as a service that for $5 a month, you sign up via email, and I'll send you once a week, I'll send you 3 to 5 items a day of what this thing is and a brief explanation or the URL of what it is or the source of it, and then a brief explanation of what it is. And it can be things as much as a new podcast I found, a new website service that I found, a new iOS app, a person, who knows. But if you've got a full-time job, like back to Kim, she's teaching all day, right?
Yep.
Doesn't have time to sit for 3 hours a night, every night, and research all this stuff in hopes of coming across 3 or 4 things that will bring her value. I just had an idea. What I'm offering with Jay's List is the same thing as sourcing and reselling, but it's reselling ideas and information as opposed to a physical, tangible product.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's a crazy time that we live in, but it's so opportunity. It's just opportunity. I mean, that's what I look at when I wake up every day. I'm like, opportunity. That's all I think about, right? And I'm all about making money, this, that, right? There's some stuff going on here, that I want to, talk about real quick, because I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. But it's scrolled by really fast. Let me just find this, Jay.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, geez, where's that? Here, it's Golden Figure and Picker again. It says, you have to be careful with social media. If you aren't careful, it could be a time suck and your business can suffer if you don't stop when you need to work. Yeah, I mean, that is, it could be. I mean, you could be sitting there like Instagram, right? Just scrolling through and yeah, an hour goes by, right? Use your time wisely,
Social media is the new television. You can sit on your butt for 8 hours a day and watch nothing but stupid TV shows. It's the same thing. But if you're watching TV shows that bring you value, bring you information, help you become a better person, a better business person, it's a different mindset. It's the same thing, it's the same problem, 2 different industries, but nothing's changed. So you have to learn how to use the stuff to your advantage, not to just be led by the nose by, whatever that network executive wants you to do on television, for example. So anyway,
it's almost like, I mean, you guys.
That's a rant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't watch TV. I do have Netflix and Amazon Prime, and occasionally watch something. Right, I'm more just being active and listening things while I'm working, whether it's taking photos of something or packaging FBA boxes. Right.
Right.
And that's where I'm looking for more information. I'm looking to hear, because I'm a big believer in being educated, and to constantly get information that might not be the greatest information when I hear it, but it might trigger something on my mind and say, oh, okay, that's great. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Is when you're listening to other entrepreneurs or other people that are all related to the same business, things trigger, right? And you go, that's a good idea, right? Yep. Or hey, I didn't think about that.
Yep.
Or I'm gonna try that. And you're more engaged, right? And all it is you talking, right? Like right now. I mean, we're sitting here just brainstorming. We're talking about what Jay does. We're talking about social media. You guys are commenting and stuff like that. We're just all united here. But, hopefully that you guys are listening and watching this. You're busy. You're doing something. If you're staring here just staring at me and Jay, next time, do something, right? I mean, package some shirts or, do something. You got to be productive. And when you're productive and you're getting information and intel, right, in your head, the information's out there, guys, with a ton of stuff, whatever you want to learn about, right?
Right.
And it's just an understanding for that, right? That there's ways to, you as a human being can benefit from this information, right? All right, so Jay, real quick, all right, so Jay you want to tell him what you want to give away, Jay.
I was thinking that, actually, let's just ask the question. Is there anybody out there in the chat that has an idea for something and they don't know really how to go about getting started with making things solid, with taking an idea or concept and bringing it to reality?
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, it's taking something like that, right? How many people, I mean, here's another question, too.
I'm asking because I decided that I'm going to give away a half an hour of free consultation to somebody that wants to pick my brain personally about their idea for half an hour and get my feedback. And I don't know everything. I'm just like everybody else, but I'm spending an immense amount of time and energy into research with all this stuff. And I've been doing this, off and on for 20 years, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, with the information online thing, I'm kind of like Mike is with the reselling thing. That's why we partnered up. That's why it makes sense. So I'm willing to give away half an hour's worth of either FaceTime or Skype or just, phone time that you can run by your idea by me, and we can just hash it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here's what you got to do, right? I mean, let's do it. You want to do it on Twitter or Facebook, dude?
Both.
Want to do them both? All right. Well, how about this? We'll do, okay. I'll even, how about this? I'll offer, what are you doing, a half hour of your time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll do the same thing, right?
Okay, perfect.
So let's send them to two different ways, right? Let's do my Facebook, which is Morning Cup of Joe. I'll put a link below. But if you go there, and you're going to have to answer this question, right? What is Jay's favorite social media platform? And I will start it. You can just put on my timeline if you want and just say, hey, yeah, here it is. And whoever gets it first, right, gets 30-minute consultation or talk or just, whatever it is to get to know Jay, right? And if people want to go to, is it your Twitter, right, Jay? At JNoggle?
Yep,
okay,
JYNOGGLE.
You can go here and, if you want to talk to me for 30 minutes or whatever it is, I mean, I'll have free time for anybody, any question, right, or anything, or it doesn't matter. You want to talk about the Chicago Bulls, let's talk, right? I'm very approachable, and, a lot of people label me as a certain individual, right, and that's not, it's far from it. I help a lot of people out, and that's why I wanted to do this show here today, is to introduce you guys, the people in the reselling on YouTube and on my Facebook and all over the place, that Jay is a great guy. He's got a lot of information and a lot of stuff that makes you start thinking, right? And moving forward with not just your life but your business, right?
Right.
And it can.
When I was at the TV station back in like 2001, the production manager, the guy that was in charge of creating the TV commercials, he hated me. He dubbed me the idea hamster because he said your wheel is always turning. You always have these, marriage things that you want to do with taking this idea and marrying it to that idea and creating something new. And at the end of the day, he ended up moving back to the East Coast, but we had some pretty good heart-to-heart conversations. And he's like, dude, you got some great ideas. You got some serious things going on. The reason he hated me was because I challenged him and made him think out of his box, because he got really complacent with doing his job, and he got into a place where it was really easy for him to do that. I was like, no, let's do this and this and this instead. Then he saw the value of that, and he's like, okay, I'm in. I get it. So idea hamster. Yeah, that's... Yeah,
it's amazing, guys. I mean, and it's just this, like, we wanted to do this here today and talk about not just, getting... Jay, you watch reseller videos, don't you, dude?
I spent way too much time watching way too many reseller videos thinking that was going to solve my problem, and I learned a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, I think it made me realize that I need to get back to what I'm really good at and what my passion is about, and that's the whole online e-commerce, intellectual property space, and and just do it. So that's what I'm doing.
Mean, it's just and that's respectable. It's understandable. We only live one life, guys, right? And my biggest thing is this: and I want to be happy, right? I don't know about you guys out there. I want to be happy. I want to make money. I want to have a good life. I want to go on vacation, right? You're not going to be able to get those things done if you're just being lazy and just not doing anything about changing your life if you're in that situation now, right? That's why, we're sitting here and we're talking to Jay. We're talking about social media. So hopefully, even if we just reach one person on this show live or on the replay that says, you know what, yeah, Mike, you're right. I've been putting off doing Etsy and hooking up my Twitter and doing this. I'm going to get this done today, right, or this weekend, right? This is just a push to let you guys know that there's a lot more to reselling, picking. You need to have plans in place, right? But you also need to be the right mindset, the right understanding of how this all works, right? There's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of bad information about how easy this is, right? It's not, right? There's a lot of work reselling, right, Jay?
A ton of work. It's not easy. But anything worth having is not easy. My Jay's List idea, for example, coming up with that and formatting it, that was easy. But to put it out in the public and to get people to pay for that, that's going to become, that's a different thing. But we're going down that road. And you don't have success unless you put the stuff out there. You can source stuff from a garage sale, from an estate sale, from a Goodwill, Salvation Army, all day long. But if you just bring it home and throw it in a pile on your floor and you never list it, it's not going to sell. Same thing with your ideas. If your ideas are just on the floor of your brain and you never format them, write them up, put them out there in the marketplace, run them, validate them via your friends and family or business people that you know, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was reading this comment here from Mothership Products. It's a labor of love. Yeah, we all sit there and we sweat and we're busting our butt. We're not doing it just to freaking get old. We're doing it to make some money, right? But if you don't love reselling, if you don't love what you're doing, you're never going to be successful, right? You've got to have a passion for it. You got to say, hey, you know what? This week I'm going to bust my butt like I've never busted before, and I'm going to get things done. I'm going to change things up. This business and any business, you can't be on the same path. Businesses change, things change. You got to be in different directions. You got to understand when change happens. Going back to Jay here again, Jay's turned me on to a lot of cool apps, guys. A lot of other social media stuff, a lot of videos from other communities where it's just a damn good listen, and he's got all this information, and it's this list, right, of just what he's doing, what he's listening to, what he's understanding, what he thinks of it, and it's awesome, right? I see it was a golden finger picker right there, new to Twitter, kind of lost with things. How do you start? Jay, talk about Twitter, because there's people making some coin off Twitter, isn't there? And there's some people that, they got millions of people following them.
Yeah.
It's craziness.
It's just like anything else. It's just like any other platform. You have to go in and you have to engage. You have to provide value. You have to find other people that are doing the same thing, and then it's about building community. And again, the cool thing about Twitter is that Facebook is open now, where it used to be completely closed. You couldn't get anybody else's information unless you were friends with them. And Twitter was the opposite. Twitter allowed you to follow people that you didn't even know. You can't direct message anybody on Twitter unless they're following you, whereas on Facebook you can direct message anybody. So that's a difference. But Twitter, the thing about Twitter is it's quick, it's concise, it's searchable, it's open, it's totally open. You can find information and people that you didn't know existed last week. So, case in point, today I got added to Follow Friday of Yivo on Twitter, and because I wasn't really using it all that much myself, but I turned you onto it because of the whole live haul thing, working smarter, not harder. And I thought, wow, this would work. And, you know, we did a couple of experiments, and it worked. And because of that, they're following me now and promoting me. And because I started to promote Mike. So that's that whole round robin adding value. I was adding value to Mike. They saw that I was adding value. Now they want to add value to me and promote me. And that's that engaged thing. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. Social media, in its core, if it's done right, is a conversation. It's two-way. It's not me, I.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes to this like the same aspect here for like what we're doing here on this YouTube channel with this Global Voodoo channel, where I'm talking about reselling and picking, right? You know, people come to me all the time and they're like, "Hey, Mike, check out my video. I just made a first video. Awesome, right? I'll promote it." You know, that's what I'm saying. Reach out to somebody who's got, you know, 12,000 subscribers in the YouTube, you know, that's talking about reselling, or, you know, or 10,000 or 5,000 to help out, right? And people will do it. I've never turned anybody down that says, "Hey, could you help me out?" Right? I'm new to reselling. You know, can you message me? You know, mention my name on your YouTube or your Facebook. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. You know, right? That goes. That's what you know. Jay's saying is that full circle, right? Don't think you deserve it, right? If somebody's going to help you out, right? You have to be accepted, and you know what? It might take a while. It might take, you know, messages back and forth, right? And just understand.
The best trick that you can do is to provide that person that you're trying to reach out to and get their attention, provide them with value. Bring something that they will see valuable to them, and then you become invaluable yourself. It's the same thing as being a good employee. You know, bosses keep the employees that make them look good. Well, it's the same thing with the entrepreneur world. Reach out to people and give them information, give them things that make them look good. They'll love you for that. They're going to engage because of that. But if you first reach out to somebody via an email or a tweet or a Facebook post or whatever and say, "Hey, promote my blah blah blah," you don't know me. I had this happen on Twitter today. I followed somebody, you know, last night, and I get up this morning and there's a direct message in my Twitter box. You know, go to blah 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 address for free, and it was, you know, totally a commercial.
Yeah, spam.
Spam. That's really what it is. Yeah, so that's the key. Don't spam. Engage, don't spam. If you do those two things, you're golden. And don't quit. It takes time. It takes time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you look at Facebook versus Twitter in terms of if you want to engage with somebody who's famous, or you're trying to get their attention because you're trying to get a product in front of them, you know what I mean?
Right.
You'll have a better chance of doing that on Twitter than you ever will on Facebook, right? You know, just engage with, you know, Mike Tyson, right? I mean, whoever you're trying to pitch to, right? Don't push them, just engage. Hey, you know, like your last movie or something like that of that nature, and you know, you're going to be able to go, whoa, this is freaking, you know, wild, right? That, you know, Mike Tyson is tweeting me back, right? You know, and it's crazy. I mean, the internet's here, guys. Digital world's here. Not saying that, you know, we're announcing this here. It's just that use the tools that are around us, right? You know, there's people, you know, Rake and Profit, I see him, you know, he's making guides. He's making money doing all different types of stuff, right? You know, there's a lot of good people that are on YouTube and about reselling. You know, I think if you're new to reselling, you come on here, you go through, you know, the Rake and Profits, the Picking Profits, the Dallas Moores, the Golden Finger Pickers, right? Bonafide Hustlers, you know, and you go through all these channels. You got an education now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Jay, I mean, free. Yeah, and it's free, guys, right? And you know what? It's like anything, right? It's out there. There's the information. My God, there's so much of it. You know, I got 300 videos. Everybody else got 500, 600. It's up to you to take this information, right? And use it to what is, you know, it's meant to be used for, right? But also, you know, if you're this content creator on YouTube, okay, you can do tremendous things, right? I mean, you look at YouTube and just step back from the people that are talking about eBay and Amazon, and you see like, hey, I could do a movie review, right? And it might be almost impossible to break through. Do you think it's possible, Jay, to start something that is kind of established right now on YouTube, like movie reviews or toy reviews or car reviews? Is that dead?
I used to think it was impossible. However, I heard something recently, and the thing that changed my mind is when I heard that whatever the source was, talk about if you use your own unique perspective and your own personality, and that resonates, and people like you, you will build an audience. That's what caused me to start to go after a bunch of this stuff with what I'm doing. You have to believe in it. Okay, so here's my number one insider tip, and I haven't talked about this before. But if you're going to do the whole reseller thing, you know, as far as creating content about your reselling, find something unique that you know about in the aspect of that. Maybe you've got a day job and it has something to do with something specific, but it can tie in with the whole reselling aspect of things. So focus and talk about that, create your content about that, and then on top of that, if you can also promote your content and use a different distribution channel than everybody else. So in other words, don't be a YouTuber. Maybe start an audio podcast on a little known upcoming thing. Maybe use SoundCloud is like the YouTube of audio, but look for something. You know, that's what I do with Jay's List. Is I find all these brand new up and coming things. If you can be first in and have valuable, unique content, I used to have a thing on a whiteboard that said, if it's good and it's out there, it'll get found. You know, and I still believe that organic growth is the best growth. Word of mouth is old school organic growth. It's by far and away the best form of advertisement marketing that you can do. Social just allows us to do it more efficiently, quicker, to a worldwide audience. It's the same good business rules of 1950 and 60 and 70, the good rules still apply today. It's just it's a different distribution channel. Case in point, my last piece of information on this. Think about this. Think about back in the 50s when television first came out. It was live, right? It was appointment television. You know, Thursday nights at 8 o'clock in the 80s, you watched Cosby.
Yep.
And everybody was there to watch. Okay. Then the VHS machine came along and allowed us to actually record these things and watch them later, right? And then what came after VHS? DVD, Blu-ray, okay? And now it's streaming over the air. It's just it's just distribution channel. Yep. The distribution channel is changing. The internet is now the distribution channel. When I worked at the TV station back in 2001, I got this thought in my head. And I would talk to people about this and kind of preach this thing. They thought it was crazy. But I said, you know what? There's going to come a day when the executive comes home from work, he sits in his lazy boy, props himself back, grabs the remote control, turns on, the Monday Night NFL game. He's watching the game on this big old piece of glass on his wall, which was a panel TV before they even really, started to become popular, right? And he loosens his tie, cracks a beer, whatever, and he realizes, oh crap, did I send that email today? He takes the same remote control, pushes a button, the TV minimizes on the screen, there's the internet below it, pops up his browser, pops up his email program, checks the sent box, oh yeah, I sent it, okay, that goes, the game comes back up all in one box. What do we have now? Smart TVs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a guru. I didn't prophesy any of this stuff. I just saw it coming because it makes sense. It's happening.
And that's what it is. Stuff is happening out there, and I see it here with YouTube. I've said this a million times. Going back to when I started making videos, I had 5 views in like a month or two, right? Yeah. And other people started saying, watching videos, and now it's like it's blown up, right? People are wanting this information. They need it, right? They're jiving and jonesing for it, right? And people are delivering this information to them, right? And it's all about just understanding if you're at a point right now and you're thinking, I saw some comments here, and Leaf was saying, hey, I want to start fishing, start my fishing channel, my cooking channel. Use the tools that are out here right now, right? Don't be afraid that, I got to script it or I'm going to look like a fool. Go back on this channel right now and look at me with long hair, sitting in my basement, trying to talk to you guys about T-shirts, right? Who cares? Who cares, right? Okay? Anything is possible. Just don't give up, right? If once you start giving up on things, and you give up just once, you're going to give up the rest of your life, right? This whole point of this whole video is to get your mind thinking, to introduce you to Jay, different ways of thinking, looking at different avenues, different social media. Maybe you're a content creator and you just don't know it yet. Or maybe you're like, wait a minute, Mike, this is making sense. I've been wanting to write this this guide, this book. I want to tell people about my story. Or I want to go get a GoPro and start making videos and show people my journey when I'm cycling, right? It doesn't matter. Provide content, provide value, and people will watch. Right, Jay?
Yeah, that's the law. Okay, so here's the homework assignment. If you've never heard of the book The Long Tail by Chris Anderson, go to your library.
Oh, no, hold on. Before you do that, here. I'll give it away.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Perfect.
Whoever wants this, just message me. Matter of fact, first 5 people in my Morning Cup of Joe Facebook, just private message me. I'll send you this, and I'll buy 4 off Amazon and send it to you. So
sweet. That is the key of what we're talking about. Because of the long tail, we have this ability. If we were still back in the 80s and it was the same blockbuster movies and the same, top 5 bestseller books and top, bands, and there was a gatekeeper and all this stuff, you and I would not be able to do any of this, even if we have the technology that we do have access to us today, because the gatekeeper would still be in place. The long tail is about the removal of the gatekeeper, and there's a market for everything because people have diverse interests. Independent music back in the 90s was the beginning of the long tail because most, it became mainstream. It didn't start out mainstream. It started out as underground. Underground is the key to making this whole thing work because just like I learned from Mike, if there's a buyer out there for everything with reselling. If it's
everything
something that has value,
price points to everything, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. I mean, here's a hot sauce, guys. I mean, there's opportunities. I'm selling these stupid hot sauces. I'm doing a lot of crazy things, and there's a market for anything. But this book here, I'll reply to you guys. I saw you're blowing my phone up now. I'll send you out a copy. I'll let you guys know via message. This book here, I'm going to tell you this, and I've said this before. I've said this on Spreecast, is an amazing book, right, by Chris Anderson, because it opens your mind to understanding really what long tail is. And starting a Twitter account could be long tail. You're putting in some time now to get it done. But maybe a year from now, you've got now 50,000 followers, right? And they're listening to you, right? Or
it's not about numbers, remember, and you know this. I'm not correcting you. I'm clarifying for people that are watching. It's not about numbers. It's about connections. And I heard recently online somebody talk about, look, I would rather have 1,000 loyal followers on any given platform than have 1 million people that just hit my like button because I asked them to. It's organic versus organic really works. That's about connection. You want people. There's a reason why Facebook calls them friends. Are they really your friend just because they hit your like button? No. Mm-hmm. You want friends.
And believe it or not, too, a like button doesn't mean that's a customer that's going to pay you. Right, guys? No. I mean, somebody's following you, right? There's a big difference between somebody hitting your like page or subscribing to you. There's so many different reasons. Don't think that, hey, I got 50,000 subscribers, and if I sold to just 50% of them, I'd be a millionaire. No, it doesn't work that way.
My biggest pet peeve is when I see people asking, like us on Facebook and Twitter, or I hear that on a radio commercial, or see it in a TV commercial, or whatever. You know what? That's not the point of that button. The point of the button was to give a raving fan, a voluntary option to express that they actually like that person, that company, that product, whatever. They didn't need to be told because they saw it's like, oh, hell yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah.
You don't need, if you're asking people to do that, it's kind of like, I can't even think of the right analogy, but it's kind of like asking your wife or your girlfriend, to do something for you which they should be doing in their relationship because they care about you. If your audience cares, they're going to do it. You don't have to ask them to.
Well said, dude. I mean, guys, what do you think about Jay? I mean, go check him out on his. There's a link here. Go check him on his blog, right? You know, let's hound him to get his podcast up and going, right?
So here's my self-promotional piece. I'm learning how to do this because they say these days that true entrepreneurs learn the grace, the eloquence, the proper way to self-promote because you have to. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will, in a sense. Mm-hmm. So I'm on this thing called Patreon. It's a Patreon, and it's like crowdfunding for individuals and artists is mainly what it's for. I created a campaign. There are several levels of monthly contribution on there. The higher you go, the more direct access to me and like one-on-one Google Hangouts or FaceTime calls or whatever are available. The entry barrier is basic information and stuff that I'm putting out there. I need some help with that. You know, I'm not sure what's going on with it, but there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of knowledge. I'm guessing, is there anybody in the chat room that even knows what Patreon is? Have they even seen it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you know, guys, just go check out, you know, what he's talking about. I mean, nobody's saying go and buy and pay and get it done, right? But if you like the way Jay is here, right, we may have another little hangout here in the future. You know, Jay's going to be working with me on Pick for Profit on some things, right? So if you're a Pick for Profit member, you know, you'll see what's happening. But you know, Jay's got a lot of information, and I think he's a great asset in terms of he provides value. He provides information that not, you know, everybody in our resale community is talking about, right? And that's what I like about it, because I think he can help a lot of you guys, right? And just by even if you feel, hey, you know, I don't need to go over there and give Jay $2 for Patreon or whatever. Nobody's telling you to do anything, right? Right. If you like what Jay's saying, you know, maybe Jay's going to create a YouTube, right? But I know Jay's going to do podcasts. I'm going to be subscribed to it. I can't wait, right? And you never know. Maybe some of the 22 people that are watching this right now are going to go, dude, if this guy's got a podcast, I'm in, right? I want to be on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I'm trying to think. There's one last thing I wanted to mention. It's all, you know, it's all about residual income. It's about passive income. You know, reselling is like, to me, it's like I'm learning it's the gateway to making money online. Sure. I saw a very, very popular Australian blogger put a post out not too long ago. He said, my top 10 ways to make money online. Guess what his #1 cited resource was?
The tuber?
eBay.
eBay, huh?
It's a way to make money online, isn't it? It's the least barrier to entry. It's a to me, it's the gateway drug to opening yourself up to making this thing happen for, you know, for all kinds of different ways. So
it really is. I mean, it's what got me into reselling, right? I mean, I started with baseball cards, you know, back when eBay first started, and I was rocking those out. Yep. And it's a great foundation to start, right? And I've gone like completely like lapped around eBay, you know. I mean, I've got developed websites. I'm selling my own product on websites. I've got some product I just moved that is now in retail chains, right? That I've developed, right? You know, I mean, it's just moving forward, taking chances and moving forward. Try if you're not getting anything out of this here today, you know, Amazon FBA, right? If you're not doing it and you're on the fence, I'm telling you, just get into it now because it is freaking August, right? Get this ball rolling. I'm telling you guys.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So your suit guide, right?
Yeah.
When did you write that?
I wrote that in, I want to say it was March or February maybe.
If there was no such thing as the internet and social media, would you have even thought of attempting to write a book and sell it?
No, I mean, I'm writing. I got a couple books written now that I'm getting ready to finish, and they're not like guides. They're not like giving away anything. It is just an in-depth process of the way my thinking goes, and I think I'm hoping that when it's out there one of these days that it'll help people new, right? This is the big thing, and I've seen this full circle, whether it's YouTube or Spreecast or whatever it is, where there's people getting together, or Facebook, where they're talking about reselling. The learning curve now for a new reseller or somebody looking into this is huge, right? I mean, they can go and spend a month on YouTube or in a Facebook group and just become a rock star, right? And have all the information, right? That's a great thing. That's awesome, right? Back when I started reselling and picking over 15 years ago, there was nobody, right? It is getting smaller, but getting wider. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's just like creating stuff, right? I mean, it's like, do I mean to make videos on this channel and say, hey guys, you want to see me walk around and flip pancakes in the morning, a vlog? Nobody wants to see me do that. Maybe some people, and it's just going for what what you have a passion for, because at the end of the day here, we were talking about dislikes before. I get dislikes all the time, right? It's part of life, right? Forget it. There's no explanation for it. Nobody's going to say anything and say, this is why I hate you. And if they hate you, hey, great, you have a fan, right? Whoop-de-doo, right? You got to get over the hate. You got to get over the fact that people just, they get jealous. They whatever it is, right? Just look beyond that when you start to do something different or new.
And I'm guessing that those haters, they're not creating any content. They're not bringing any value. They're spending their time hating because they don't know how to do the other. So don't be a tool. Use the tools. That's the issue.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys have any questions, let us know right now. We're going to spend a little more time here, but if you have any questions about anything, me and Jay here will be more happy to answer them. Mothership Products, do you flip pancakes exceptionally well? No, I'm awful at it. Trust me. I don't even know how to make a pancake. I tried once and I threw a fit. I even read the back of the instructions.
Oh, and hey, I'm gonna give you my #1 tip to success online right now.
Yeah.
Quit wasting your time watching stupid cat trick videos on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, use your time wisely, right? Use your time to benefit you as a person, to grow your business, or to make you feel better, right?
Yeah. The internet is not okay. Here's what separates the men from the boys. Do you use the internet as an entertainment tool or as a productivity business tool? Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's been said that rich people have large libraries and small TVs, and poor people have large TVs and small libraries. Go figure.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it. We can get the politics. I don't want to get much into that. But if you look at like just what has happened in the past 20 years, it's like you said. There's bigger TVs. There's all these shows, right? It's just to kind of get people that are kind of like a lump, right? Oh, we're just gonna sit on the couch for 9 hours here, and then I'm gonna cry to my friend or my wife or my husband how my life sucks. I can't find work or whatever, because they're not doing anything, right? I mean, you have to go out. If you want to succeed in life, you have to go out and, take it by the horns and just freaking go for it, right? Don't give up with it,
100 years ago, there were no corporate jobs.
Mm-hmm.
There were no corporations. People took care of themselves for their own needs. Small farms, and then they traded with certain things that they didn't want to do. Some neighbors were specializing in certain things, and then that would be the person in that community to go to for that specific product that you needed. But they basically took care of their own individual needs on their own. It's coming back to that now with the internet. The internet, they're saying, is bigger, a bigger industrial or a revolution than the Industrial Revolution was to our country when that happened. It's going to make the Industrial Revolution look like nothing.
Wow. Scary but true, probably.
It is.
Technology
is only relevant if it's personal. You know, that's the bottom line. So if you don't know it, if you're scared of it, do one of two things. Find somebody that does know it and partner up with them, or learn about it yourself, because it's not going to go away.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey guys, I really appreciate you guys spending some time with me and Jay today. I hope you guys like Jay. If you think he's cool, if you like what you're hearing, go follow him. You know, I mean, we'll put some information after the video. But in the comments too, let us know. Hey, yeah, we kind of like the show. You know, like to learn more or hear more. This is cool. But also too, if you're listening to this after the fact, it's live, right? There's a lot of good conversation going on in the comments. Go check out some of these people. Click their names. They make videos. They've got, you know, they're putting out content about reselling. There's a lot of information on the tube, right? The YouTube. You know, turn off your tube and get on the YouTube.
Exactly.
But, you know, at the same time, guys, you know, understanding, you know, go back, watch the video, or get yourself thinking. Get a piece of paper, right, and start writing down ideas and what you want to accomplish in life, and then create them, map them out, and go for it, right? This life I've learned is anything is possible, all right? As long as you put your head and your mind to it, you could be unstoppable. Are there bumps in the road? Yeah, there are, right? But if you dedicate your time wisely, oh my God, Jay, you can crush it, can't you?
Yeah, totally. And you know, for me, it's my little secret thing is it's not so much about time, because we all have time, because, you know, I was thinking about this earlier today. 5 years ago, I would spend 6, maybe even 7 nights a week, from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m., laying in bed watching TV. What a waste. Did that for probably a couple of years straight, to be honest. And it might have been a little bit longer than that, but I had a call center job at the time, and so I'd get home and I'd just like have dinner and, you know, spend some with the family and get in bed and, you know, waste all those hours watching TV. And you can't do that. I'm not saying get rid of television, period, but what I'm saying is that we all have time, okay? We all have plenty of time. Time is not the issue. Energy is the issue. And you know as well as I do, Mike, that if you're going to create valuable content, it takes more energy than it does time. And unfortunately, when you spend your energy, you can't just go out and make, you know, replace it immediately. Your body has to have the ability to rejuvenate itself. And sometimes that's food, sometimes it's sleep and rest, sometimes it's inspiration or a combination of all these things. But if you're going to provide value and really crush it, you have to take that into consideration besides just the time aspect.
Well said, dude. So, guys, if you like this right now on your live, first off, thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Jay, I'm going to leave you with the last word. So thanks for being on the show. This was fun, man. If people want to see more of me and Jay, let us know. But, Jay, I'm going to give you the last word before we end it here.
Well, you know, Mike, I totally appreciate your willingness to put me out there in front of your audience. And, you know, I brought you value with all these things. You know, case in point, the deal with Yivo today. I hope you crush it on that. I think that you totally will. That platform was made for you and waiting for you to, you know, find it and adapt it. And that'll be interesting to see what happens with that, you know, alone. But this is the time, people. This is it. If you're gonna, you know, use your reselling time and experience to think about what it is that you're about. Because reselling it's not about us. It's about the stuff that we resell. Mm-hmm. But why can't you take physical goods and buy them and resell them? Why can't you take that idea and turn your passion, your ideas, and turn them into intangible goods and sell them? And the beauty of that is that once you create that ebook or that video course or that audio podcast or that product and put it out there once, you can sell it over and over and over and over again to all kinds of different people. When you buy a snapback hat and you sell it, you get to sell it to one person one time and then go back out and do it all over again. So, you know, do both.
Yeah. Or if you're in a position where you're doing that snapback hat, you're just buying to replace, right? Think about what it could be that's passive for you in your life. Because I believe everybody, if you're selling as a reseller or a business, you need some kind of passive income, right? I mean, as a reseller, last time I checked, there wasn't some big union or somebody's going to write me a big check when I retire, right?
Yep.
So, hey guys, thanks so much for spending some time with us on Friday. He's going again. Jay's going again. Go ahead, Jay.
Last thing, if you're a reseller, you've proven that you have the discipline to take your passion and turn it into a product and sell it online. It's not going to happen overnight, but you've already proven you have the discipline to do it, because reselling, contrary to popular opinion on some YouTube channels that are out there, it's not easy. It's still work. It's a lot of work. And in some ways, it's worse than having a 40-hour-a-week job. There's freedom, though. So take that freedom, take your ideas, write them down, let's talk, get some stuff out there in the marketplace, and start moving it forward.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for spending some time with us. We are out of here. Till next time. Peace. Deuces.